Okay, another very important thing for me about investing interstate is on the ground due diligence. So I know a lot of times people are afraid of investing interstate because they're not really familiar with the area they're about to buy. That's why they prefer their own backyard suburbs, and that's 100% reasonable. So that's why if you are going to be investing interstate, it is definitely worth a trip up there. Now, what would you do up there? Okay, well, I've got a couple of recommendations based on my own personal experiences. Number one is when you're flying up there, you can schedule for time to meet with your team. So, for example, your property managers, your buyer's agent, if they're local, or even any local area experts that basically lives there. Because you'll be surprised at how much information they can give you about the area, about the demographics, about the type of tenants, about the current demand, etc., etc. There's no better way, to be able to ask these local people who lives and breathe there to be able to give you these information. It's like a brain dump that basically just, you spend a day there and then you'll get so much more information than just sitting back behind the screens. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is, of course, you want to be able to schedule a day so you can actually check out properties and also connect with the agents. Because if you let the agents know that you're serious about buying properties and you say you've got finance and everything sorted, then that is commitment. And plus, you are there. So, if the agent knows that you are physically here, that shows you're committed to actually try to get something. So that to them is commitment. Therefore, let them know what sort of criteria you're looking at. And if there's anything that they have upcoming that could potentially fit your criteria, give you a call. Okay, so that's another thing. One of the other things that you may want to do is to check out the demographics, and you can do that not online, but maybe going into shopping centers like Westfield or local shopping mall. What I usually do is I would go to the shopping center and then, I'll grab lunch and I'll just sit in the food court and have a look around the people, the demographics that lives here. You'll be able to tell what sort of people that lives here, whether it's, families, whether it's singles, young kids, or old people, you name it. So, after you spend an hour or two there, you actually get to see a lot of people and you get a good feel of what sort of demographics live here. Are they white collar? Are they blue collar? Do they look educated? That kind of stuff. So, I think that to me is also quite important from determining the demographics and rental demand of the area. Number four is you also want to be able to check some of the projects or infrastructure that's going into the area. So as an example, when I was buying my Marumba Downs property up at Moreton Bay, the train line was about to open at that time. The new train line from Petrie all the way to Kippering. So they haven't opened yet, but it was literally pretty much built. So when I was buying that property, I spent a good couple hours around the station because my property literally was just about 300 meters from the station. So that's why when I was up there, I actually physically walked from the house to the station to make sure that I'm comfortable with the distance, and also I want to get an idea on where that station progress currently is, which at that time was pretty much done. And also I can see the bus lanes were also being built around the area as well. So they're definitely things and new infrastructure that's in there. And at the same time, I also went to see the Westfield at North Lakes, and I was very, very impressed with the infrastructure. So these are the main things that I would look at, and I would definitely recommend you to do as part of your on-the-ground due diligence. Now, you don't have to do that every time, okay? So this is one of the very important things. You don't have to fly there every time as you look for an investment property. It's not like, these things are the things that you can just do once and then you'll get an idea on what to do. So that's why I would suggest you, maybe take a day or two, spend a good time there, just schedule your day to make sure that, you've got adequate time for each of the activities that you want to accomplish out of those. And you only need to do this once. And then after that, if you want to look for properties yourself, then essentially you can engage the local team members such as PM to actually check the property on your behalf. So there's a couple of tips from me, okay? Okay, so those are the three main things in terms of what I believe are critical for investing interstate. Number one, get your finance sorted. Number two, determine the approach in terms of how you're going to acquire the property. And number 3, do your on-the-ground due diligence. Okay, so these 3 things are critical, and I highly recommend you, if you are thinking about investing interstate, make sure you get them done. Okay, so if you've got any questions about today's contents, make sure you can feel free to comment below. If you like the video, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we've got more exciting contents coming out in 2019. Otherwise, I will see you in next week's Invest Power episode.